Dude, did you guys see Congress voted to ban TikTok?
Let's go.
They voted
Which part of Congress? How much of Congress?
I think the House, and I think they got 80% of the votes.
Yeah,
So now
which
it's
is
Senate.
which is bananas. Let me talk about that a little bit because, like, dude, the Republican-led House can't approve like basically a Republican border immigration bill. I can't recall in my life. I'm sure it happens, but like the last time any notable legislation got 80% of the vote.
9/11 shit.
Okay, but usually they get
anytime it's giving money to Israel.
The
3
first
defectors to come over, something like that. And if it's bipartisan, it's 49 Democrats and 4 Republicans or something like that. That's what they call bipartisan. 80% of people agreed to get rid of TikTok. And
that's ridiculous.
And Biden said he'd sign it like last week.
Biden said he would sign it. Yeah.
So it's not technically like a strict ban. It's they want to divest. They want TikTok to divest themselves of their Chinese ownership.
Yeah, to be fair, that's exactly right. And what that means is that the owners of TikTok will have 2 options. One, allow their product to now be worth billions of dollars less, or B, sell their product to someone else, let the servers be somewhere else. And that's what they're going to do. So they're going to sell. Knowing that they're probably going to sell, how do you invest, Woody? Do you invest in their competitors or do you bet against them in the future?
Shit, I feel like with almost every social platform, the move is not to invest. Really? What are you going to invest in? MySpace?
The president's about to take a bite out of their fucking
MySpace. It's already like the boomerville of Facebook is what now? Marketplace, some jackass boomers talking about Trump and
Meta.
I think Facebook is still, it's replaced every forum. So if you're into fish tanks, motorcycles, this, that, the other thing, you find yourself on Facebook to find people with common interests.
Sure.
But Facebook is like moving into the rearview mirror, right? Someday,
so where do we watch
Instagram
our shorts in the future if TikTok doesn't do it anymore?
Exactly. I guess.
Well, Steve Mnuchin is trying to put some funding together to buy TikTok. That was Trump's Treasury Secretary, and he also he was a movie producer. He produced like Batman v Superman and shit.
So Trump was against this. Trump says leave TikTok alone because he met with this billionaire investor of TikTok and reversed his position. He's for sale. Yeah. And now Trump is trying to protect TikTok, which is a reversal.
Yeah, I'd rather see TikTok not get banned. Like it's better
it won't
to
get
have
banned.
more out there. It could be though.
Direction.
I
just told you what's going.
But if the topic is what would we want, I think I'm with Taylor. I don't understand the danger.
Okay, well,
China's gonna figure out that I think fucking shorts are funny.
Yeah, a bunch of people can say stuff.
So
I don't like.
So actually, it's no. I think a lot of the pundits on the other side of this would say that China intentionally runs different algorithms here than at home because they're trying to brain rot America. Meanwhile, if you look at TikTok in their country, you might learn how to do your geometry homework better. Here, you'll watch divisive things. You'll watch like race baiting things. You'll watch all sorts of politically charged stuff that really make the country less cohesive when it's the most popular app on everybody's fucking phone.
I'm not going to watch your geometry app, Kyle. You can't make me. I'll find a way to brain rot somewhere else.
Listen to this. Kyle wants you to be doing fucking math, people. He wants you to do math on your phone.
My TikTok would be the best of both worlds. You'd figure out the circumference of titties. All right. Why would teach you how to measure cup sizes with geometry?
You're winning me over.
Okay, but everybody here would? I assume everybody here would agree that. I assume everybody here would agree that China is an adversarial country, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Is there no concern amongst any of you guys that an adversarial country can send 200 million Americans a push notification anytime they want on an app that they ban in their country? Like, you can't go on TikTok in China. You need the Chinese version.
I hear your point, but I have a counterpoint.
Restricting
what if I were to say
speed?
that having open trade deals is critically important with your adversarial countries? The thing that prevents people from going to war is it ruins business. And if you have, like, I don't know, trade going back and forth like US and China does, that will stop wars.
Well,
Powerful
we can keep
people
trading.
will make sure it doesn't happen.
I'm going to keep buying the fucking TVs and the tables and the lumber and their bad steel, but they don't get to run their propaganda arm anymore.
That's what that's the point.
Like, it's just, what do you prioritize more? Are you more afraid of China sending a push notification to people, or do you prioritize higher, which I would, like the ability of Americans to use an app that they want and have speech on it?
The problem is that it's asymmetrical. So without this ban, you have America allowing this company with a substantial Chinese Communist Party interest to operate freely in the United States to tune their algorithm. Now, I'm not alleging like that they're deliberately tuning their algorithm, but I'm just saying like it's not unfathomable.
We do it to them.
And it was no, but we don't though, because they don't allow. You can't go on Twitter in China. You can't go on Facebook in China.
I'm not talking about that specific. Trump allowed a CIA operation starting in the second year of his term that was this vast propaganda influencing campaign on their internet to destabilize them and make their government look bad in their people's eyes. If you don't think they're doing the exact same thing, but they don't need to with TikTok. I mean, why wouldn't they?
It wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't shock me. Where are you getting this? Trump, CIA.
I think it's Reuters. Is it Reuters?
Routers. Trump, CIA.
I'm from the South. It's Routers.
It's Routers.
China.
I was on Routers.
Yeah, but I would rather see them not ban a app that a lot of Americans speak on.
Oh, this just came out today, actually. Trump launched CIA covert influence operation against China. That's interesting. I'm going to look into that later. But I mean, like, do you guys understand just kind of broadly why there would be serious concerns? Like, if you were looking to, say, destabilize Western nations by undermining faith in institutions and democracy broadly, you can see how having a substantial interest in a major social media platform, the number one social media platform for young people in this country, you could see how that could be like, that could be easily problematic and huge. I really
acknowledge your concerns and agree that they're valid. I still have a hard time getting past this foundational idea that trade between nations prevents war.
What percentage of trade is TikTok though, Woody? I don't think it's any.
Well, but piece by piece, right? First we banned TikTok, then they stopped the sale of iPhones, and then we retaliate by doing something else, and then suddenly they're not letting Fords be sold in China because we're going to track their movements. And
please, that's the best trade ever. Both of them. We don't get to sell either of those F-150s. How many Fords do they import? It cannot be many.
I get that it's not a big thing. I'm just trying to come up with examples where, you know, bit by bit, trade gets eroded away. That example,
you would find tariffs on our stuff, and yet peace remains. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you can't.
Tariffs are different than bans.
I feel like it's a tough economic policy, a trade policy, and this is no different. We're not telling them we're not confiscating TikTok, which is what we probably should do. We should fucking just take it from them, because why not? That's what we do. We're saying, hey, you got to divest. That's not cool.
Is China involved in BRICS? Is China the C in BRICS?
They're the C.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like I can understand if you're like a young person and TikTok's your main thing, and I do understand kind of like being wary of giving government too much control over social media platforms. It is a bit different because it's not like the United States government has the same level of influence over like Twitter and Facebook than China has over TikTok or China has over their own social media platforms. Like the Twitter files, what did they reveal ultimately?
I think they definitely do. They lean on social media companies all the time. I don't think it's fair to say that's comparable to communist China. Like in communist China, you cannot be a TikTok influencer. And like here in the United States, half of TikTok is people criticizing the United States. You can't do that in China. You can't like make a video criticizing Xi Jinping or, you know, Chinese policy when it comes to like
the Hutch's point. Half of Twitter is people criticizing the United States.
Yeah, you can be like Hassan Piker and make millions of dollars selling America bad to like 18-year-olds, and you can do that. You can be
promoted to the front of Twitch and stuff like that. We're doing it.
But you cannot do that in Russia. You cannot do that in China. So I do think like when we look at like the Twitter files, what did we see? We saw like government were they requests, or they were like government requests to like, hey, we think this post is problematic or whatever. And what we found out was like 75% of the time Twitter was saying no. 25% of the time they were doing it, and it had to do with like COVID policy and election disinformation. Like the Trump administration, for example, asked Twitter to take down a Chrissy Teigen tweet that called them a pussy ass bitch. Like that,
pretty mean.
And
that is pretty mean. Did they
but
do
it's
it?
funny.
They said
they
no.
leave that one up.
In China,
I'd leave it up too.
They don't do requests. They just take that shit down. So there's a huge, I think, difference.
Wait, who was called a pussy ass bitch?
Trump.
Oh,
Chrissy Teigen called him a pussy ass bitch, and the administration reached out to. There's like an email where the administration reached out to Twitter and they asked.
I still don't know who
some
that
of the
is.
stuff
Is
that they
actress?
took down in the last election cycle violated Twitter's policies, like against porn and stuff like that.
Do they have policies against porn?
They have policies against
revenge porn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not porn then. That's something else. They shouldn't
Don't judge my porn habits.
With the TikTok thing though, like don't you like you want Americans to be able to, maybe they can't share certain beliefs on Facebook that they're allowed to on TikTok.
Well, dissent is really important, I think, for especially for liberal democracy. It's like the bedrock. It's like the First Amendment, like the constitutional right to redress grievance against your government. That's obviously like you don't want to stifle that. I don't know if TikTok, like I wouldn't consider TikTok in the same category as like Twitter or Facebook. You can do that on Twitter. You can do that on Twitter. You can criticize the government. You can do whatever the fuck you want, essentially.
Yeah. What they're asking TikTok to do will not stifle TikTok's free speech. It will ensure that maybe the CCP isn't writing the algorithm there, though. That's all they're going for.
These are not reliable. These are not reliable partners for like Western interests. Like the Chinese Communist Party have a 50-year, 100-year plan in terms of global.
It's not going well for them lately, though. It's been fun.
Well, the real estate fucked them up. They had like a big old real estate bubble over there, and it's pretty bad right now. But
I don't think they're over COVID.
Are they not?
I think
I know it bounced back.
COVID,
and I just assumed it had settled. I'm sorry.
And I think economically as well. And also I know this stuff that's going on with the Houthis. Apparently that really doesn't bother the Israelis. What it bothers is maybe a few Israeli oligarchs who own shipping companies. They're like, oh no. But
they're not just going after Israeli ships. They're going after anybody who shows up in there.
Exactly. And that's why it's a problem for Europe and China, because that's where that's the trade between Europe and China goes through.
That's a hugely important shipping lane.
Yeah, for China.
I think the Likud party has been pretty.
I like seeing Europe do poorly
outspoken about the Houthis, right? Like it's not just
like
Israeli bureaucrats. Like it's the main party in power. Netanyahu's party.
Wow,
a problem with it.
Well, the Houthis are.
China spoke out against the Houthis. Nobody likes the Houthis.
Well, I mean, Iran likes
the Houthis in Iran. They're like, like this, but
Hamas,
North Korea loves them.
I feel like Hamas very openly at this point acknowledged that they in part did what they did on October 7th because they were trying to draw in outside forces and turn it into a larger regional Hezbollah and more Iranian proxies.
Hezbollah whoever runs Hezbollah, that's a smart cookie, as Trump would say, because he didn't do shit.
He would say
that. All his like I'm sure they finance them and they influence them, but whoever the guy who flies that Hezbollah flag, not an Iranian flag, that guy who's in charge of it decided not to get involved. There was some fighting in the north, like southern Lebanon and northern Israel, but like they certainly didn't. The Hamas was not successful ultimately in turning it into something much bigger. I guess the idea is that for the Abrahamic Accords and the normalization of between Saudi Arabia and Israel, Hamas felt like, okay, we need to pop the fuck off because it's kind of now or never. Yep.
But it fucking sucks because now they're just so much further away from a Palestinian state, and it's not like the Palestinian people in Gaza have a say in terms of like military operations.
Yeah, I was just getting destroyed every single day.